Hello, as we say in Greek, yassas, and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Tina from Living Delicious Nutrish, and today is the last in the series of Mezethes, or Greek style appetizers. And I'm going to show you a classic today. It's very simple. Meatballs have been done 1,000 different ways. This is actually considered Keftethes, as we say in Greek. Anything that's kind of in that round or patty sort of shape is considered a keftethes. And I'm going to show you the meatball recipe that I grew up eating and my mom and my grandmother always made, with a few little twists to make it more paleo, no gluten, no grain, and actually AIP because it doesn't even have an egg. So let's get started. I'll show you what we're doing. First of all, I just want to go over here and see who's watching today. Today is the last. And turn this down. Great. So let's get started. I've already got a batch working in the oven. They're almost baked. And what I've done is just cut it in half. So the recipe online is going to have the full recipe. What I have here to start is a half a pound of grass-fed ground beef and a half a pound of grass-fed ground lamb. Okay, you can go straight lamb if you like. I prefer adding the grass-fed beef because I think it has a nice consistency and a little less fatty than all lamb. So I'm just gonna set that aside and I can get started on the other things. Again, today we're gonna let the food processor do a lot of the work for us. I'm just chopping through a half an onion real quick. And because the food processor is going to do the work, I'm not too concerned about having tiny dice size. And to this, we're going to add some garlic. So this is going to go straight into the food processor. And I just love these because you can do them any size you like. I'm going to show you a smaller size today since we're doing them as an appetizer. And also, if you wanted to make them larger and serve them as an entree, but I think they're delicious just like this. You can serve them over some cauliflower rice or maybe some cassava orzo. I'm just smashing these garlic cloves a bit so they'll pop right out of their skins, and put those into the food processor as well. And throw this into my compost bin. So I just got this set with a regular blade and I'm just gonna pulse it until it's completely minced. So for a full recipe, you use a whole onion and 2 to 3 garlic cloves. I like garlic, so I went ahead and put 2 in. I'm just gonna scrape this down a little bit. And don't worry about getting out too many appliances or using too many utensils. If you did this by hand with a grater, let's say you don't have a food processor, that's fine. You can use a box grater and get the same result. I just like it really minced because I think the texture of the meatball is a little nicer. But essentially, you would need a bowl and the box grater, and here you have a bowl, right? This is a bowl and a blade, so you're still washing 2 things. I'm always trying to make shortcuts and make things easier. Okay, so here's the unique ingredient. This is pretty much the way I like it. I like to say it reminds me of snow since I don't live in the snow anymore. This is just nice and minced up. I'm adding about 5 ounces of butternut squash. This is just frozen butternut squash. If you want to use fresh, you need to cook it first, but I love the convenience of this. It's just organic, cut into cubes. Thawed it out, drained it so there wasn't a lot of excess water, and that goes in. This is what's going to give us extra moisture, extra flavor, extra nutrients, and it's going to give us the binding that we will get rather than adding an egg, so we can keep it AIP. If you like to do an egg, it doesn't hurt it. I think the consistency is just a little softer, not quite as, from the protein from the egg binding it, not quite as tight or hard to bite into. And that looks great. It's nice and smooth. It's almost pureed, but not quite. So now here's my meat, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add this right to the meat. And again, my little trick for keeping the blade in place, I just put my finger in the bottom where it's attached to that stem inside the bowl, and it doesn't fall out. I'm gonna get every bit of that. And next, I've got some fresh herbs here. The herbs in the yard are getting a little frail. It's been really super hot, so I have a little bit of fresh. If you don't have fresh, don't worry, because I'm also adding this Paleo powder seasoning. It's from Paleo Powder. I love their seasonings because this is just the perfect blend of everything Mediterranean. You can also just add the equivalent of 2 tablespoons of dried oregano, parsley, and dill, but that's all kind of already in here. So I'm just gonna measure that out. About 1.5 tablespoons since we're doing a half a recipe. And 1/2 cup of almond flour. The recipe is gonna call for a full cup. And I like to buy my almond flour on Thrive Market. It's just a nice, organic. I trust their brands and the quality of their products. I'm gonna do about a teaspoon of salt, and you can season it to your preference. I never give measurements for salt and pepper. I like to just season it to taste. And the ground pepper, and now you get to get your hands in it. And I have my jewelry off. And I'm just squishing through in between my fingers to make sure that all of those ingredients are really well blended. And while I'm mixing this, I wanted to let you know about my Whole30 group that's coming up. We're gonna start prep on September 1st. And day 1 of the Whole30 reset will begin on Tuesday, September 7th. So you'll have that last hurrah with Labor Day weekend coming up to get any last minute fun in. I don't want to cramp your style, but then we'll do the 30-day reset and then about a 12-day reintroduction. It works out to be 12 to 15 days depending on how you do with each potentially problematic food group. But I really do love Whole30 because it not only teaches you what's right for you and you alone, but how you can move on after Whole30 and continue living your life in what we like to call food freedom. So you can eat whatever works for you and you get to determine that for yourself. So you can go on my website, livingdeliciousnutrish.com, and go under coaching and enroll now for more information. And I hope to see you in my group. It's virtual. We meet once a week with Zoom, and it's just a lot of fun. The groups have been just superb. I love these people that have been in my groups. So I hope you can join us. So this is pretty well mixed up now. You can see the color is nice and even, and everything looks pretty well blended in. There's a couple pieces of squash. You could leave them in, or you could pull them out if you see some. Totally your preference. Now I'm gonna wash my hands even though I'm gonna get messy again. So I'm just gonna step over here to the sink because I'm gonna show you how I like to use portion scoops for portioning these meatballs. And you know, you've seen me do portion scoops before if you've watched my videos in the past. And this is something that I picked up from my days in a commercial kitchen. These come in all different sizes. You can order a set on Amazon or wherever you like to buy your kitchen equipment. And I'm using the small one, which is about 1 ounce. So for 16 ounces of meat, which we have 8 ounces of the lamb and 8 ounces of the beef, plus all of the other ingredients, we should get around 16 to 20 meatballs with the extra ingredients. I have some started here, And I'm just gonna show you how I do this. It's so simple. I'm just gonna scoop the meat and make it level on the top and drop it onto this sheet pan. Once I've done a few of those, I like to roll them up. If you get a little extra, just feel free to use your hand to scoop it off so that they're all consistent. And then I just roll them between my two hands until I get a nice round shape. Again, I'm not going for anything crazy here. We don't have to be perfect. And you can pack them pretty tight on the sheet pan. This is another trick I learned from baking professionally for a long time. I go across the short side and then down the long side and space everything out as evenly as I would like. These could go a little closer together. And now I have my bottom or top and side rows, and I just line everything up according to those. It gives you nice consistent size. It gives you nice consistent cooking. And you can count how many you have on the sheet pan just by multiplying the top and the side. I'm not gonna do all of this. I just want you to get the idea. Because this is such a quick recipe. These go in the oven for 15, maybe 20 minutes until they're no longer pink inside. I usually do them at 350. And that's all there is to it. So I'm gonna wash my hands one more time and I'll show you what they look like finished. Let me grab that pan out of the oven. I love my big sink and my big commercial sprayer. This will wash pretty much anything. So let's bring this over here. And these are still hot. So I'm gonna get them out of the oven. And I have a really fun, simple plating suggestion. I've made some tzatziki. Tzatziki is a Greek yogurt sauce that's typically served on gyros and souvlaki, some of those kinds of things. My family loves tzatziki and we eat it on almost everything. So I'm just gonna show a little tzatziki dipping sauce to go along with these meatballs. You could certainly serve these with a marinara sauce. You could serve them over zucchini, spirals, butternut squash noodles, cassava orzo pasta. Have lots of options to keep this grain and gluten free. And you can see these are all cooked. They have a beautiful color. And I'm just gonna put them on these leaves. Baking them really saves time. You don't need the added oil if you were, say in the past, to fry them first. It's not necessary. At this point, you could freeze them. At the already prepared but not baked yet stage, you could freeze them. I would just put them in the oven on a sheet pan until they were frozen solid, and then you can keep them in a Ziploc bag until you're ready to bake them. And you can bake them from frozen as well. So if you're going through this, it's a little bit time consuming to shape all of those meatballs. Then save yourself some time and make a big batch and have them ready for whenever you have guests coming over. All of these mezethes that I'm showing you, that I've shown you for the past several weeks, are going to be on a free download on my website. So if you want to sign up for my email, it's a twice a month email with some kind of topic that I'm interested in sharing with you. And that's it, I promise. You can sign up for my email at livingdeliciousnutrish.com and get the free download with all of the Mezethes. This is Mezethes, or appetizers. So this is volume 2, and volume 1, which was the Greek inspired chicken dishes, will still be available. So just go ahead and sign up for my newsletter and you can get all of these. Doesn't that look beautiful? Who wouldn't want to eat these? I'm gonna try one right now. Perfectly cooked inside. Nice and tender. That garlic comes through. You're gonna love these, and so is your family. And if you try them, please be sure to tag me here on Instagram or anywhere on social media, Living Delish and Nutrish. I love to see your results. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. So, looking forward to seeing you join my newsletter. Looking forward to seeing you join my Whole30 group. And Thursday night, finally, for all of you local Central Floridians, I think it's sold out, but I will be at the Edible Education Experience teaching Reset with Real Food, which will be a 2-hour class. It's a monthly portion of their Culinary Curiosities program, and I hope it's a big success, so they invite me back because it's been a lot of fun to plan. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. Yassas, as we say in Greek, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.